What if chasing the perfect face body or selfie ended with a one-way ticket to a real-life horror movie? From famous celebrities to ordinary people, these 15 plastic surgery disasters prove that sometimes the only thing getting lifted is your medical bill. Buckle up, because these shocking transformations went way beyond skin deep. Number 1. Rachel Napier. Rachel Napier wanted bigger lips, not a front-row seat in her own medical horror movie. But after responding to an Instagram ad for a cheap filler party, her dream makeover quickly became the kind of story that makes people delete beauty apps and question every limited-time offer they've ever seen. At 29 years old, Rachel couldn't resist the chance to get lip fillers for just £220. It sounded like a bargain, but as it turns out, some deals are cheap for a reason. During the procedure, the practitioner accidentally injected the filler into an artery instead of the proper tissue. Almost immediately, Rachel felt an intense burning sensation, and within hours, her lips had swollen to nearly 4 times their normal size. Let's just say this was one beauty trend that went way beyond making a statement. Doctors later warned that without emergency treatment, she could actually lose part of her lips. After months of painful recovery and several procedures to dissolve the filler, Rachel finally got her life back to normal. Rather than keeping quiet, she decided to speak out and campaign against unlicensed cosmetic treatments. Her experience serves as a powerful reminder that when it comes to your face, a discount price tag is never worth gambling with your future. Number 2. Sue Briddick. Sue Briddick thought she had found the perfect bargain. At 54 years old, she traveled to Turkey for cosmetic surgery, hoping to save thousands compared to prices back home in the UK. The package promised a dream transformation, but what she got instead looked more like the plot of a horror movie nobody wanted to star in. Even before the operation, Sue felt that something was off. There were no detailed consultations, no careful planning, and before she could fully process what was happening, she was already heading into surgery. Usually, buying a new car involves more questions than what Sue experienced that day, and that's never a good sign when your body is on the line. The real nightmare began after she woke up. Her stomach had turned black and severely inflamed, leaving her in excruciating pain. Doctors back in Britain later discovered extensive tissue damage that required emergency treatment, skin grafts, and nearly a year of recovery. Her breasts were also left with heavy scarring and an appearance far different from what she had expected. Today, Sue openly warns others about the dangers of chasing bargain cosmetic procedures overseas. She admits that while saving money may sound tempting, no discount is worth risking your health or spending the next year trying to repair the damage. Sometimes the most expensive lesson in life starts with the cheapest offer on the internet. Number 3. April Brown. April Brown wanted what so many people dream of: a more confident, glamorous version of herself. As a successful salon owner, she believed one quick procedure could give her the body she had always wanted. Instead, it became a nightmare that no amount of makeup or positive thinking could ever cover up. Hoping to save money, April turned to an underground practitioner for butt injections. But what she thought was medical silicone turned out to be industrial-grade material similar to bathroom sealant. Talk about a home improvement project going completely off the rails. Within days, a massive infection spread through her body, and what started as a cosmetic enhancement quickly became a fight for survival. Doctors worked tirelessly to save her life, but the damage was devastating. April ultimately lost both her hands and feet and endured an astonishing 27 surgeries to remove infected tissue. Yet through it all, she refused to let tragedy define her future. Today, she lives with prosthetics and uses her story as a warning to others when it comes to cosmetic procedures. Cutting corners can sometimes cost far more than money. Some lessons in life are expensive, and hers was one she never wanted to learn the hard way. Number 4. Barry Fairburn. Barry Fairburn only wanted to erase a few smile lines. You know, the tiny wrinkles that show you've laughed, lived, and survived awkward family dinners. Instead, he ended up with a story so terrifying that nobody in their right mind would ever call it a laughing matter again. The solicitor from Leicester was pleased after his first filler treatment, so naturally, he decided to go back for round 2. Unfortunately, that's when everything went horribly wrong. During the procedure, the filler was accidentally injected into an artery, cutting off the blood supply to part of his nose. At first, Barry thought it was just a nasty bruise. Spoiler alert, it definitely wasn't. Within hours, the pain became unbearable, and the right side of his nose turned black and blue. Doctors delivered the shocking news: the skin cells were dying, and immediate treatment was the only way to save what remained. Multiple procedures and skin grafts followed, but the damage left permanent scars that would never completely disappear. Looking back, Barry's experience serves as a brutal reminder that even the most routine cosmetic procedures carry real risks. Sometimes trying to erase a few years from your face can end up giving you a story you'll be telling for the rest of your life. Number 5. Holly McCulloch. Holly McCulloch thought she had found the deal of a lifetime. At just 28 years old, she booked a $3,500 all-inclusive trip to Turkey for breast implants after seeing glamorous ads featuring celebrities and influencers. It looked less like a medical procedure and more like a luxury vacation. Unfortunately, reality had other plans, and this dream getaway quickly turned into a horror story nobody wants to experience. After the surgery, Holly woke up in unbearable pain and immediately noticed that her breasts looked uneven. Even more shocking, the implants reportedly began pushing through her skin. That's definitely not the kind of souvenir anyone expects to bring home from a holiday. Doctors eventually had to remove the implants, leaving her devastated, but still hoping she could somehow fix the damage. Believing a second attempt with smaller implants would finally solve everything, Holly returned for another procedure. Instead, a 7-centimeter wound opened during recovery, followed by a severe infection and a terrible odor that sent her rushing back home for emergency treatment. In the end, the implants had to be removed once again. Looking back, Holly admitted she had doubts about the clinic from the moment she walked in, proving that sometimes your instincts are far more reliable than a flashy Instagram advertisement. Number 6. Farrah Abraham. Farrah Abraham has never been afraid of change, but at some point even her most loyal fans started doing double takes and asking, "Wait, is that really Farrah?" What began as a few cosmetic tweaks eventually turned into one of reality TV's most talked about transformation journeys. After becoming famous on 16 and Pregnant and Teen Mom OG, Farrah openly embraced plastic surgery. Over the years, she underwent breast augmentation, a nose job, a chin implant, lip fillers, and several other procedures. Most people celebrate a glow-up with a new hairstyle or a gym membership. Farrah, on the other hand, decided to explore just about every option modern cosmetic medicine had to offer. Things reached another level when a 2022 selfie left fans completely stunned. Her face looked dramatically different, sparking endless discussions online. Some followers said they missed her natural beauty, while others could barely recognize the young woman they had watched on television years earlier. Still, Farrah has always defended her choices and insisted that she's happy with her appearance. In Hollywood, reinvention is practically a way of life, and Farrah Abraham may have mastered that art better than almost anyone else. Number 7. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Jocelyn Wildenstein wasn't just another New York socialite. She became one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. And not necessarily for the reasons she imagined. Known around the world as the Catwoman, her dramatic transformation proved that sometimes love can make people do some truly unbelievable things, including trying to look like a giant house cat. According to reports, Jocelyn underwent countless cosmetic procedures in an effort to win back her husband's affection. The twist, he absolutely loved big cats, and somehow she believed looking more feline might save their marriage. Most people buy flowers or plan romantic vacations. Jocelyn apparently decided that cheek implants and cat-like eyes were the better option. Over the years, experts have suggested she underwent facelifts, lip injections, brow lifts, cheek enhancements, and multiple eye procedures that created her signature feline appearance. Instead of becoming a symbol of eternal beauty, she became one of the world's most famous examples of extreme plastic surgery. Yet beneath all the headlines lies a much deeper lesson. Changing yourself to please someone else rarely brings the happy ending you're hoping for. After all, if someone doesn't love the real you, becoming a human version of their favorite animal probably isn't going to fix the problem. And if Jocelyn's story made your jaw drop, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, the next transformation is even harder to believe. Number 8. Jessica Alves. Jessica Alves has never done anything halfway. While most people struggle to pick a new haircut, Jessica spent years and nearly £650,000 completely reinventing herself in one of the most dramatic transformations the world has ever seen. And honestly, even Hollywood screenwriters might reject this story for being too unbelievable. Long before becoming Jessica, she was famously known as the human Ken doll, undergoing countless procedures to achieve the perfect plastic look. We're talking nose jobs, body sculpting abdominal implants, and even the removal of 4 ribs to create an impossible silhouette. Apparently, going the extra mile wasn't enough. Jessica decided to remove a few body parts along the way too. But then came the biggest plot twist of all. After dressing as a woman for a photo shoot years earlier, Jessica realized she had finally discovered her true identity. That moment changed everything. What followed was another series of major surgeries, including facial feminization procedures, hip and butt implants, and gender-affirming surgery in Thailand. It was a journey that shocked the public, but ultimately brought her happiness and peace. Today, Jessica embraces her new life with confidence and says she has never felt more like herself. Love her choices or question them, one thing is undeniable. Jessica Alves proved that sometimes the most extraordinary transformation isn't about changing your appearance. It's about becoming the person you always believed you were meant to be. Number 9. Pixie Fox. Most people grow up watching Disney movies and eventually move on. Pixie Fox watched them and thought, you know what, I could totally become one of those characters. And unlike the rest of us, she actually committed to the assignment big time. Determined to look like animated icons such as Tinkerbell and Jessica Rabbit, Pixie spent more than $120,000 transforming herself into a living cartoon. Her journey included nose jobs, eyelid surgery, brow lifts, lip and cheek fillers, multiple breast augmentations, and a Brazilian butt lift. But the procedure that truly shocked the world was the removal of 6 ribs to create an incredibly tiny waist. Apparently, having a normal skeleton was simply not part of the vision. For years, Pixie even wore corsets around the clock to shrink her waist further, proudly aiming to break world records. And despite everything she had already gone through, she openly admitted that she still wanted more procedures in the future. To her, perfection was never a destination, it was an ongoing project with unlimited updates. While many people questioned her choices, Tixi insisted that her story wasn't about encouraging plastic surgery, but about following your dreams and embracing individuality. Love it or hate it, one thing is certain: when most people say they're living in a fantasy world, Pixie Fox took that idea far more literally than anyone ever expected. Number 10. Raji Narina Singh. Raji Narina Singh wanted to feel beautiful and confident, but her journey to self-acceptance took a terrifying turn that sounds more like a crime documentary than a cosmetic procedure. What was supposed to be a simple enhancement ended with one of the most shocking plastic surgery stories ever told. Back in 2005, Raji attended an underground pumping party run by the infamous O'Neill Ron Morris, a fake surgeon later known as the Toxic Tush Doctor. Instead of receiving professional cosmetic fillers, Raji was injected with a horrifying mixture that reportedly included cement tire sealant and other industrial materials. Most people use those products to fix their driveway, not their face. The results were devastating. Large, painful lumps formed across her cheeks, lips, and chin, leaving her embarrassed and afraid to seek help. As a transgender woman, Raji faced additional barriers to proper medical care, making an already terrible situation even worse. For years, she lived with the physical and emotional scars of that decision. Thankfully, renowned surgeons, Dr. Terry Dubrow and Dr. Paul Nassif, eventually stepped in and helped remove the dangerous substances through a series of complicated procedures. Today, Raji proudly shares her story as a reminder that beauty should never come at the cost of your health. Because if someone offers cosmetic work that sounds too good to be true, and their medical supplies look suspiciously similar to hardware store products, it's probably time to run in the opposite direction. Number 11. Donatella Versace. When your last name is Versace, looking ordinary simply isn't an option. But for Donatella Versace, the pursuit of beauty eventually became almost as legendary as the fashion empire itself. Over the years, her dramatic transformation has sparked endless conversations, proving that in Hollywood and high fashion, the word subtle sometimes goes completely out the window. Donatella's fascination with appearance started early. At just 11 years old, she began bleaching her hair with encouragement from her brother Gianni Versace. And that was only the beginning. According to experts, years of Botox fillers, laser treatments, and other cosmetic procedures gradually changed her look into something fans could hardly recognize. Let's just say that while most people collect designer handbags, Donatella may have collected beauty treatments with the same enthusiasm. What's even more fascinating is her attitude toward natural beauty. In interviews, she openly admitted that she never really believed in the concept, famously joking that the word natural only made her think about vegetables. Love that confidence or question it, one thing is certain: Donatella has always lived life on her own terms. Her story is a reminder that beauty standards can be powerful, but sometimes the search for perfection becomes a runway with no finish line in sight. Number 9. Dennis Avner. Most people call themselves cat lovers because they own a few kittens and spend way too much money on toys and treats. Dennis Avner took things a little further, a lot further. He literally transformed himself into what he believed was his true animal spirit, earning the nickname Catman, and becoming one of the most unforgettable figures in body modification history. Born in Michigan, Dennis was a computer programmer and Navy veteran whose life changed after a Native American shaman encouraged him to honor his spiritual path by embracing the tiger within. While most of us would probably buy a cool t-shirt and call it a day, Dennis committed to the mission with incredible determination. He underwent 14 surgeries covering his body with tattoos and adding facial implants, pointed ears, a flattened nose, and even a mechanical tail to complete the look. His dramatic appearance quickly turned him into a media sensation. Dennis appeared on major television shows, including Larry King Live, and even earned a Guinness World Record for the world's most extensive permanent transformation to resemble an animal. Love it, question it, or simply stare in disbelief. One thing is certain, Dennis Avner proved that when someone says they're a cat person, you should probably ask a few follow-up questions before making any assumptions. Number 13, Pete Burns. Pete Burns was never the kind of person who wanted to blend into the crowd. As the flamboyant frontman of Dead or Alive, standing out was practically part of the job description. But what started as one simple procedure eventually turned into a lifelong obsession that shocked fans around the world. It all began with a broken nose. After hearing photographers complain about which angles looked best, Pete decided to fix the problem with cosmetic surgery. Seems harmless enough, right? Well, that one decision opened a door that never really closed. Before long, one surgery became 10, 10 became 50, and eventually Pete underwent nearly 300 procedures in his endless pursuit of perfection. At that point, even his frequent flyer miles to the surgeon's office were probably legendary. Unfortunately, the journey came with a heavy price. Repeated infections and botched operations forced him into an exhausting cycle of corrective surgeries, draining both his health and much of his fortune. Doctors warned that there was no finish line to his obsession, but Pete refused to slow down. Even through all the struggles, he remained unapologetically unique and determined to live life on his own terms. His story is both fascinating and heartbreaking, a reminder that sometimes the search for perfection can become the very thing that steals it away. Number 14, Michelle Williams. For years, thousands of people have traveled abroad looking for cosmetic procedures at bargain prices, hoping to come home with a brand new look and a few extra dollars still in their bank accounts. Michelle Williams thought she was doing exactly that. Sadly, her story became a heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the cheapest option can carry the highest price imaginable. The 46-year-old teacher from London decided to undergo a nose job while living in Turkey in 2020. Her family fully supported her decision and expected her to return home with nothing more than a confidence boost and maybe a funny story about hospital food. Unfortunately, life had a much crueler script in mind. After being placed under sedation, Michelle reportedly suffered a cardiac arrest, followed by several hours of seizures. The lack of oxygen caused severe brain damage, leaving her in a coma for more than 12 weeks. Her devastated family rushed to Turkey and remained by her side while desperately searching for answers and pursuing legal action against the hospital for alleged medical negligence. Michelle's story is both shocking and deeply tragic. It serves as a powerful reminder that cosmetic surgery is never just another vacation activity on your itinerary. Before trusting anyone with your health, a little extra research today might save a lifetime of heartbreak tomorrow. Number 15, Candy Colosimo. For most people, turning 40 means a nice vacation, a fancy dinner, or maybe buying something they'll regret on Amazon at 2 in the morning. But Lindsay Colosimo had a different plan. She traveled to Colombia for a tummy tuck, a breast reduction, and a butt lift, hoping to welcome a new chapter of her life with a brand new look. Unfortunately, what she got instead was a nightmare that would change everything. After more than 5 hours in surgery, Lindsay woke up in agonizing pain and complete confusion. To make matters worse, she noticed there was barely any medical staff checking on her recovery. Then things took an even darker turn. Her legs started going numb, and a mysterious black spot appeared beneath her bandages. Doctors initially assured her that everything was normal, but as we all know, those are sometimes the 4 scariest words a patient can hear. The truth was absolutely devastating. Nearly 30% of her nipple tissue had died due to necrosis, a condition caused by a lack of blood flow. Multiple infections followed, forcing doctors to remove damaged tissue and perform several corrective surgeries just to save her life. Looking back, Lindsay admitted that her pursuit of perfection led her down a road she never expected to travel. Her story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the best transformation isn't changing how you look. It's surviving long enough to appreciate who you already are. Number 16, Catherine Kando. Winning a beauty pageant is supposed to be a dream come true. Maybe you get a crown, a sash, and a few awkward photos you'll laugh about years later. But for Catherine Kando, one of the prizes was something far more controversial, a free liposuction procedure. And sadly, that prize would end up changing everything. At just 19 years old, Catherine was a medical student and the newly crowned Queen of Duran in Ecuador. According to her family, she never even wanted the surgery. She believed that if she wanted to lose a few inches, diet and exercise would do the trick. Honestly, that's probably the most sensible thing anyone has ever said at a beauty pageant. But relatives claimed that the surgeon repeatedly encouraged her to go through with the operation until she finally agreed. What should have been a routine procedure turned into a devastating tragedy. Catherine died during the operation, and conflicting reports emerged about the exact cause, ranging from cardiac arrest to brain swelling related to complications from anesthesia. Investigations later revealed serious questions surrounding the clinic and the qualifications involved in the surgery. Her death shocked Ecuador and sparked a nationwide debate about beauty standards and cosmetic procedures. Number 17, Hang Myoku. Most people hear the words DIY beauty routine and think about face masks and skincare hacks from TikTok. Hang Myoku took that concept to a level nobody could have imagined. Her pursuit of perfection eventually became one of the most shocking plastic surgery stories ever to come out of South Korea. Once known as a naturally beautiful young woman, Hang began undergoing cosmetic procedures in her 20s and quickly became obsessed with changing her appearance. Surgery after surgery followed until doctors finally refused to operate on her, warning that she had already gone too far. But instead of stopping, Hang decided to take matters into her own hands. When professional fillers became unavailable, she reportedly started injecting cooking oil into her own face. Yes, the same thing most people use to fry dinner somehow became part of her beauty routine, and the results were absolutely devastating. Her face became severely swollen and disfigured, drawing attention from the entire country. Thankfully, after appearing on television, viewers donated money to help pay for reconstructive surgeries that removed some of the foreign substances. Although she never fully regained her original appearance, Hang's story remains a heartbreaking reminder that chasing perfection can sometimes make people lose sight of the beauty they already have. Sometimes the most important makeover is learning to accept yourself before the mirror tells a different story. Number 18, Carol Bryan. Carol Bryan thought she was making a simple investment in looking younger. Like millions of people, she wanted a quick refresh, a little confidence boost, and maybe a few compliments from friends asking for her skincare secrets. Instead, she ended up living through a nightmare that would last for years. After receiving cosmetic filler injections, Carol began experiencing severe complications that doctors initially struggled to understand. Her face became painfully swollen, inflamed, and disfigured as her body reacted to the materials that had been injected. What was supposed to smooth out a few signs of aging quickly turned into a medical mystery. Let's just say that when your beauty treatment requires more specialists than a Hollywood movie production, something has definitely gone wrong. Over the years, Carol endured numerous corrective procedures and an emotional battle to regain both her appearance and her confidence. Rather than hiding from the public, she chose to share her story and warn others about the potential dangers of cosmetic procedures when patients aren't fully informed about the risks involved. Her experience serves as a powerful reminder that beauty trends may come and go, but your health should always remain the one thing that's truly non-negotiable.